Which one we were? we were playing?
The young people in the tournaments.
Yeah. What would you say to young people that kick the balls around, swear during the competition? You see a very good player but with a very bad attitude.
I think there are too many coaches and parents that let athletes get away with bad behavior because they're a good athlete. We see it at the professional level, we see it at the collegiate level, we see it in the youth level, and I think we need to say, look, what are our priorities? Are we going to focus on producing good people, or are we going to produce jerks? Because once you let somebody behave that way, they feel entitled to behave that way. And it's an embarrassment. If I see that, if I'm a visitor, I always said to my teams, if somebody walked in the door right now, how would they evaluate our team? Would we be world class or mediocre? And when they walk in the door, no matter what we're doing, I want them to say, wow, that's world class. Not because we're trying to be something to show, but we're committed because we know if we're world class every day, we'll be as good as we can be in the end. And that's all we have control over. But when we let people act like that, it's disgusting to me and to others. That there has to be you have to be accountable for your actions. You cannot be allowed to act in any way that you want to act that has no consequence, because in life, people will have a rude awakening, because if they act that way in real life, because when they become an adult, they will have harsh consequences that they don't like. And it looks bad, it's an embarrassment to wherever they come from, to their families. I always say, you're going to embarrass yourself, your family, and your state, or are you going to be somebody who's great? And challenge them that way. But unfortunately, people are letting them get away with it. And in a tournament setting, there should be a zero tolerance policy. It's easy. Everybody knows in advance. If you kick the rack, you are out of the tournament. If you swear, you're out of the tournament. If you yell or whatever you want to set as the standard. It can be a one warning situation where they get one warning, and if it happens again, they're out. I mean, it's difficult when you go from a situation like that where people are allowed to behave poorly. You have to maybe phase in, but what are we teaching the younger children that are watching these kids that are supposedly better players? We're saying that it's acceptable to do, so guess what? They're going to do it too.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it just needs to stop. It doesn't help a player. That's one of the factors of being great, is emotional control. So the parents and coaches are doing a complete disservice for that player. You can't let people get away with it, because one is, if you really care about them becoming good, we need to stop it. If we care about how we are represented and much more above and beyond the bowling, are we going to be good people? It needs to stop. So either way, there's no reason for them to allow it to happen.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a shame, because you see people as adults in tournaments that poor behavior, and young people see that, and because they are great players, good players with bad attitude, they do the same in their
Absolutely, absolutely. When is it going to stop?
Let me tell you that when I was a kid, when I bowled as a kid, I had some bad attitudes too, but fortunately my parents talked to me and said, you can't do that, because if you do that again, you're out of the game.
Yes, I had a bad attitude when I was a kid too, and I try to stress to my son that it's not going to help him to get upset, and fortunately so far it's been pretty good. But I'm not hesitant to hold him accountable to make sure that he doesn't become one of those people that just are not adding value to the sport and only taking away.
Yeah, I know. Because I mean, you can have a bad day in the bowling center. You can be mad at you, but Just that, not
That's
to,
it.
to make it a scene or kick the
Exactly.
the ball return.
Well, doing damage to a business, potentially, to break things, to be bad role models for younger children.
Yeah,
It's not acceptable.
It's hard. Joe, I think that it's all the questions I have for
75 questions.
more or
by the way.
less. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. These days I had the opportunity to talk to you, see you work, see your work as a whole in
Right.
these 4 days, and I hope to see you soon here in Mexico.
Thank you. Thank
See
you.
you work again.
I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for helping out with our clinic last week. It was great with you, Alex Sanchez, and Ernesto Franco with a great support team to really help the players advance and help me with the vision that I had for those players. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, Alex Archundia and Jesse.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Ron.
Hector,
Hector.
Jess, Alex were great hosts, and I will be back with them. It looks like early June with the Studio Pro Shop clinic. Back with the state team in just after, and then down to the Yucatan with your brother.
Perfect.
So I'm very excited about that trip and some other possibilities in the future.
Perfect. You will see a lot of
Okay, yes. Maybe even see that
this. You will see.
in real life.
Perfect. Joe,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
thank you. Perfect.
Yes. 75 takes.